Hello and welcome to House Planet Bite Size, the podcast brought to you by House Planet and Housefully. My name's James Farley, the founder of House Planet, and our goal is to share everything you need to know about buying and managing short-term rentals. Today's guest is Chris Rule from Turno, and he's got 5 reasons why every host should be allowing pets at their property. Okay, real talk now for all you hosts out there. You know that moment when your guest messages you again with, "Hey, what's the Wi-Fi code?" Or you're staring at 5 different calendars, wondering if you've accidentally double booked the cottage. Yes, we've all been there. That's why here at House Planet, we recommend Housefully. It's basically your rentals control center. It handles bookings across all the big platforms, syncs your calendars to ensure there are no double bookings, automates guest messages, and even creates these really slick digital guidebooks that stop all the repeat questions. Honestly, it just makes your life easier and keeps your guests happier, helping you achieve those all-important 5-star reviews. And here is a little bonus. If you're a House Planet listener, you can get $500 off onboarding for Housefully's property management software and 30% off digital guidebooks for life. Just hit the link in the show notes and use the codes PLANET500 for the PMS and HousePlanetGB for the guidebooks. And if you'd like a proper walkthrough, there's also a link to book a demo with Frank Bosey from Housefully. He will show you how it all works. Less stress, more bookings, sorted with Housefully. Chris, welcome to House Planet Bite Size. Thank you so much for joining us. You've got 5 reasons why hosts should be allowing pets at their vacation rental. So take it away with reason number 1.
Yeah, obviously, I think the first thing is you get a larger guest pool, right? So the opportunity to, open up your place to a larger population of folks who have pets, right? So allowing pets, I think, can open up your rental to 70% of guests who actually own a pet, at least in the statistics that we have. So it's a much wider pool of potential guests. Another area is sort of incremental revenue, right? You can actually charge more money. So guests are willing to pay a little bit extra for, the cleaning fees or, pet amenities, things along those lines. So you can actually leverage this as a potential revenue opportunity for you, revenue lever opportunity for you. I think the third one is just loyalty, right? Guests who know that they have a place that they can bring their pets, and know that you are a pet friendly place and that have other friends or family that also have pets. They're going to talk about that, right? And say, hey, I had this fantastic property that I went to, or short term rental I went to, that has a great pet experience. And so repeat business and having those folks come back, especially if some of the other competitors in the area aren't allowing pets, they're going to continue to come back to you if that pet is important to them. I think the fourth one is longer stays, right? So I know that I am a pet owner, and sometimes when I go and travel, so we're going to travel out of country, I have to find lodging for those dogs or those pets, right? And so that's additional incremental cost on my end. And so I take that into consideration in terms of the length of stay that I'm going to have, because I may have to back that down knowing that I have every single night incurring lodging charges for that pet or for a sitter to come in or something along those lines. And so maybe able to actually increase the length of stay by allowing that person the understanding that they can stay longer with that pet and have that pet with them and not have to incur those extra costs. And I think the last piece is kind of an interesting one, right? Which is, if you are a pet owner, you tend to be a little more responsible in the world, right? And so you have this responsibility of having pets. You're probably not this major, going to come in and destroy a short-term rental place or have a giant party with your dog there as well. So you may be able to actually attract some of these more responsible guests who care and know, hey, my pet is important to me, but it's also important that my pet also is taking care of the place that we're staying in as well. And so I'm going to be maybe a little more responsible of a guest for you when you come in. So those are the 5 that I think are the top of our list.
Excellent. I love those. Yeah. So, number one, the larger guest pool, more revenue, of course, owner loyalty, potentially longer stays, and hopefully very responsible pet owners. Yeah. I like the analogy there that they're probably not going to be hosting a party if the dog or the cat has come along with them.
Staying
And,
with them.
and I guess as well with vacation rentals versus hotels, this is one area where vacation rentals can really stand out, right? Because a lot of hotels, they're not taking pets.
Yeah, I agree. And I think, a lot of hotels, even if you do, I used to work in the hospitality business, and I would work at hotels who did actually have pet policies, and you'd have to sign all of these things, and there'd be deposits. And I know that that can be the case at some of these short-term rentals as well. But I certainly know that the staff would look completely different upon people who had pet stays. Your house cleaners coming in and not knowing if the pet's in the room or what that's going to look like. And so I know while we had those opportunities and had that service, it was definitely not something that we tended to advertise a lot. It was sort of more of the, I guess we'll deal with it type of thing in the hotel world than it was, hey, this is something that we're going to embrace and actually encourage to try to drive more business.
And in terms of revenue, pet owners expect to pay a little bit extra because, as you say there, the alternative is going into kennels or a cattery or something, which can be really pricey.
Very pricey. I mean, we're going on a 10-day, out in Mexico in 2 weeks from now, and it's going to cost us for our two dogs at least $1,200 to $1,500 to board them for that time, right? And so, we bake that into obviously the budgets, but that's the line that people are drawing is like, hey, I'm happy to pay an extra, six, seven, $800, or $100 a night, to bring my pet, because I get to have them. I get to make sure that they're taken care of. I mean, I'm going to have a stranger taking care of my pet, and I actually can potentially save money, which is a very interesting thing, knowing that you're, as a host, you're potentially making more money.
I've spoken to a lot of property managers around the world, and a lot of property management companies, and they will always say, if you want to stand out, you've got to allow pets. So if you want to
Yes.
stand out on the OTAs, if you want to make a bit more revenue, this is a great way to do it by allowing pets. However, it's not all fun fairs and lollipops with pets. There can be downsides as well. So where does kind of a solution like Turno come in when it comes to supporting owners in relation to dealing with pets?
Yeah, I mean, I think this is sort of what we do really well, right? Which is taking care of cleaning and maintenance side of things, right? So, obviously, there's going to need to be a deeper clean that happens, right? There's odors, there's more hair, there's potentially other messes that can happen inside of a rental because of this, right? So that's the downside of allowing pets. We believe that you could make up for a lot of that within, pet fees and revenue that you can get extra. But solutions like Turno, right? These short-term rental OTAs as well as property management systems, they're very good at tracking whether or not a pet is going in with the stay. And Turno now takes all of that data and sends it straight to your cleaner. So your cleaner now knows, was there a pet that was there previous, and or is there a pet coming in? So we can either help with an additional deep clean. The cleaner could potentially charge more. They know what they're expecting. They can stay there a little longer, plan for that, bring different materials. And then on the other side of it, they can also set up for that pet, right? Make that experience really, really awesome, and bring the dog bowls out, and maybe the pet amenity or something that you have in your storage closet. So like those are the types of things that Turno can do to help make sure that this experience is not one that is super detrimental, but one that's actually very positive on the back end, knowing that potentially there's opportunity for a deeper clean needed, and the Turno cleaners are they were clamoring for this feature that we released earlier this year, and it's been an amazing addition to our offering.
Now, if you are traveling with pets, and obviously this is something that you've done a few times before, how can a host go the extra mile to ensure that you're a really happy guest and a happy four-legged friend as well?
Yeah, I think most, again, going to sort of that reason number five, right? Responsible pet owners, right? we obviously come, especially when we drive up to the mountains in Colorado and bring our pets. We come very prepared with their kennels and their bowls and all of these extra things. Um, but it is always an amazing touch. I remember going up to an Airbnb 2 years ago, and there was the person had left out dog bowls and already filled one up with water, knowing that maybe you have your own food and all of those different things, but like already filled one up with water. I think it showed that the property itself and the owner and the people who were cleaning and setting up and the management were embracing of our pet. And it wasn't I didn't have to feel guilty to bring my pet there and like have to make sure that they, we tiptoed lightly around things, that they were embracing of this opportunity and really saying, hey, look, we care about you as well as your entire sort of extended family of kids as well as pets.
And does that extend to rules as well, like within a rental? Is it better to not have too many rules and I guess trust the owner of the pet that they're going to be responsible?
Yeah, I mean, there's always going to be the corner cases, right? People who are not responsible. I mean, it's the same thing with the person who rents your house and is irresponsible with partying and leaves the place in a complete disaster, right? There's always that risk with a pet owner as well. But I think for the most part, trusting that these people are here to have a vacation and have a good time and that they are going to take care of your property and that they are going to um, let you know if there's any problem or that they are a responsible pet owner in that case. I think trusting and not having as many rules is really important. At the same time, I fully expect that if there was some damage done by a pet of mine, that I would be responsible. And so I think it's okay to draw the lines of what's reasonable and what you're responsible for as your pet, and make sure that the guests know that. But that goes for anything, right? If you damage a door, you're responsible for it. It's the same thing. If you damage a couch cushion because your pet had an accident, you're responsible for it.
100%. Yeah. Now, I'm part of many short term rental communities where I live, and the number one question I get asked by fellow hosts is, do you know any good cleaners? So, with that in mind, tell us about Turno, tell us about the platform and where people can find out more information.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, I think that so I'm a pretty new addition to the team. I've joined Turno about 6.5 months ago, and I think the thing that I've been so impressed with is just the power and quality of our cleaner network, and I think it's this really kind of interesting reciprocal kind of marketplace that we have, which is cleaners are trying to impress hosts so that they can get long-term work. It's not the same as sort of your Uber driver where we just send some random cleaner every single time. These cleaners are trying to find long-term connections, and we're encouraging those long-term connections. And in the off opportunity, we've tracked this data. It's been one of the more fun things I've done coming in. 90, I think it's like 99.98% of all cleans that happen on Turno happen without any escalation or any issue, right? We don't hear about them. They're just great, right? High quality. The cleaners show up on time. They have the information they need, and they do the job really, really well. However, in that 0.02%, right? I mean, we do tens of thousands of cleanings on a monthly basis. In that very tiny fraction, that's where our Turno guarantee, which we just launched earlier this year, comes in, where we will go out, we will ensure if there's a no-show or poor quality, we'll go out and we will tap our network. We'll utilize our own levers of expanding searches and make sure we get people the quality cleaners to make sure that ultimately that clean gets done before the guest gets there. And that happens, again, a very small fraction of the time. And in those cases, if the cleaner is more expensive or whatever, we'll take care of that difference. We'll also help you with credit for your next cleaning, because we know that those are sort of the issues. But that's where our support team, who's 24/7, just jumps in and really handles the situation of like, hey, I don't know if my cleaner is going to show up. Multiple stories of like our team jumping into action and getting a cleaner there within an hour is exactly what Turno is all about, and the true power of what our systems can do. So
If you need a cleaner, people, check them out. It's turno.co. com. And yeah, that guarantee is really important. As hosts, we've all experienced that horrible phone call where somebody says, I've just got into your house, it hasn't been cleaned. It is a nightmare
Yes.
to deal with it. So yeah, this is one way of potentially avoiding that. Chris, thank you so much for joining us on House Planet Bite Size and talking to us all about cleaning and pets.
Awesome. Thank you so much, James. Appreciate you having me.
Great to chat to Chris Rule there from Turno about pets, one of the most hotly debated topics in our industry. All right, that's it for today's episode. Remember, this series is sponsored by Housefully, and if you'd like to try their PMS or digital guidebook, head to housefully.com. For more free education, tips and trends from the STR industry, visit houseplanet.club, where you can sign up for our newsletter, listen to our podcasts, and download a suite of ebooks for hosts and property managers. That's it for today's episode. Until next time, happy hosting.